Reshiram, you gotta close this. You gotta close this game right here. You gotta hold, because if we don't hold, we are losing here. YouTube, today we're trying out a brand new team, and this team has Reshiram and Calyrex-Ice Reshiram that got top 8 at the European International Championship. It's a really cool team with Reshiram and Calyrex-Ice Reshiram, and this team also got top 32 at Liverpool Regionals. The spread that was used at EUIC is not available. However, I did take a lot of the spreads from the Liverpool team that was shared publicly, and it does seem like most of the spreads were changed. There were a few differences with like Gastrodon set change, Mimikyu a item, and the moveset change, but yeah, pretty close I think to what was used at the European International Challenge. Let's see how it goes. But if you do enjoy the videos, be sure to leave a like down below, leave a comment down below. Really does help me out. And if you want to check out the details of the team and the creator, I'll link them down below in the description. But let's get started and play some games. Kieran White, Zacian, Ditto, Fairforn, Whimsicott, Entity. I'm pretty sure that this was an old team, but oh boy, Fairforn. I mean, we have a Reshiram, which actually does threaten some really heavy damage. They don't exactly have the best counters to Reshiram. This isn't that bad of a matchup, I suppose. Yeah. My only annoyance is that Kyurem can actually break the disguise on the Mimikyu right here. So that's something I'm going to have to watch out for. All right. Because you do have the Turbo Blaze as a thing that just affects my... Oh boy, it affects my Mimikyu, so you can break through disguise, and Life or Blizzard Hailstorm does actually pick up the knockout into Mimikyu, so that's something I do have to watch out for. I'm actually going to lead off of, I think, Incineroar plus the... yeah, I do want to lead off with the Incineroar here, I think. Or do I want to try something else? Because I could... maybe eject button Incineroar and try to set up for something else. Actually, yeah, I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to lead Calyrex plus Mimikyu here with Incineroar and Reshiram. I just don't know what they're going to exactly lead here. The Ditto can actually be a little bit annoying here. Amoonguss doesn't really do that much, I think, in a role here, especially with Fairforn. I don't want it as a liability when Fairforn comes out, because Iron Defense Fairforn would be really difficult for me to play against. Let's see. If it's a Assault Vest, that's like way easier to handle. We'll find out what they decide to lead. Zacian and Kyurem would make a lot of sense here to me. It's going to be the Kyurem and the Entity. All right. Time for some mind games here. I guess I could go for a Trick Room and... ooh, there's like quite a few things I could go for here. I don't know if they have Fusion Flare. If they have Max Flare or Max Dragon, that would be a little bit rough here. Oh boy. This was definitely a hard lead to actually counter, because if I led Reshiram, they have Follow Me pressure. I guess like leading Reshiram... I guess Reshiram plus Calyrex wouldn't have been a bad lead, because I could have always used Eject Button and Incineroar for pivots here. Okay, this is going to be a little bit tough. I don't know what they're going to exactly go for here. I feel like that they could go for a Max Hailstorming the Mimikyu here, or they might target down the Calyrex right here. I'm not exactly too sure. This is pretty difficult. I think I'm going to go for... man, technically the best optimal play here is to double Trick Room, and hope I get one, but I don't know if that's actually worth it here. I think I protect here and I go for an attempted Trick Room here. Let's find out, because I think they would be scared of potential Max Dragon here and Shadow Sneak. We're gonna see the Entity swap out here though. It's into Fairforn. Okay, I have a feeling this is gonna target my Mimikyu Den. This is a Dynamax from the Kyurem. I have a huge feeling this is gonna target down my Mimikyu Den. Okay, this is not a great start. We're gonna see the Dynamax Kyurem come out here, and oh boy, this Pokemon's so annoying for this team, because it just dishes out so much damage right here, and the fact that it breaks through the Mimikyu disguise is just tough. Okay, well, let's see what they decide to go for. Protect the Calyrex here. Man, I'm hoping that this is Dragon, but it's okay. It is Dragon. All right, that's not too bad. All right, they do go for the Max Dragon into the Calyrex. Yeah, that is really not that difficult. Okay, I still have a Reshiram in the back that can still dish out a good amount of damage to their team overall, especially once this Dynamax is over for my opponent's side. The Life Orb going to affect it here. We will get the Trick 'em up with our Mimikyu here, and yeah, this isn't too bad of a spot right now. Okay, if they are going to fire off I don't know if they fire off another Max Dragon. I feel like Incineroar here and a Wisp into the... Incineroar just seems really good here, because Parting Shot and threatening the Fairforn seems like a really good play, and I don't need Incineroar as much, I feel like, in this game, especially with I feel like just saving Calyrex because it can actually hit the entity for a lot of damage and I could set up for later. So I think I'm actually going to go out into my Incineroar here and Wisp here. I guess it's going to be awkward if the Fairforn attacks the Calyrex, but I don't really see it targeting down the Calyrex here. Let's find out. We are going to bring out our Incineroar here. If they do pick up the knockout into Incineroar, I don't think it's too bad. I get a free switch to Reshiram, and a burning the Fairforn is pretty solid right here. So let's find out if this is going to be the case. We do bring out our Incineroar. We're going to see a Iron Defense setup. Okay, so it is Iron Defense on the Fairforn, and not too surprising. I do get a Wisp off, which is pretty huge into that. I wonder if they go for the Hailstorm and the Mimikyu, or if they're like really scared of like the Shadow Sneak plus a Hailstorm, which I don't think knocks out Kyurem because of the Max Dragon drop, which is why I don't want to go for it yet. We do get the burn on the Fairforn, and we are going to see a Max Quake be fired off actually into the Mimikyu. That's an interesting play because it didn't knock out the Mimikyu. Huh. Okay. I am okay with that. I'm actually surprised it was Max Quake out of that option, but all right. We are going to be able to taunt the Fairforn this upcoming turn. I think taunt is probably okay. I do kind of want to try the parting shot here, the Kyurem, if I can. And I guess I want to switch out Mimikyu because I still want it around. I think I'm actually going to go into Calyrex right here. Let's see if I get punished for this, but I'm pretty sure I don't. I'm pretty sure they body press my Incineroar here, which is going to activate eject button. I can go into Mimikyu, and then maybe I lose the Incineroar slot right here because I don't think you have to target the Mimikyu here. It's not really like doing that much, and you could always target it outside of Trick Room. Oh, they Iron Defense again, which is perfect. Okay, cool. I really don't mind. I have a Reshiram in the back. A whole Reshiram is going to eat you alive once Dynamax is available. We do get the parting shot off into the Kyurem. Perfect. I don't know if this is a dragon or if this is Quake. I could see either slot right here. I'm going to go on to Mimikyu because I don't think I even need Mimikyu to win this game. I just need Reshiram in, and Reshiram in can threaten a lot, especially with Max Flare Glacial Lance combinations. I will find out. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. How did I know? How did I know? Okay, that is perfect. That is actually perfect right there. Okay, cool. That's a pretty big catch on their Dynamax right here. I felt like they could Dragon right there because the party shot's pretty obvious, and they might want to try to snipe either Reshiram, not give a free switch, or target down the Calyrex that could be coming in for the parting shot right there, especially if they made that Iron Defense play. So this actually works out amazingly for me right now, and I can threaten the Kyurem right now with a Shadow Sneak into the Calyrex slot and a Glacial Lance. I don't know if they actually decide to protect this turn. We'll find out. If they do, that's okay, because I could probably go... I guess I have to play around a few things, but again, once Reshiram is in, I feel very comfortable in this position. Let's see. I also have an eject button with my Incineroar that I could play around with, and okay, they do protect the Kyurem, so I could have maybe protected my Calyrex instead, which wouldn't have been a bad play. Shadow Sneak into the Calyrex is going to activate the policy. It's not really going to do much to the Fairforn, however, still very manageable. But let's see what's this. Iron Defense again. Okay, it's burned at +6. That's not even that bad for me. Okay. Do I high horsepower to Kyurem? I guess I high horsepower to Kyurem, huh? I would take the knockdown exhaustion. I would get the boost. Fairforn shouldn't be able to knock me out even at +6 with Iron Defense because of the burn from earlier. So Glacial Lance going to come out into the Fairforn. Yeah, it's really not doing that much. I think I could just taunt the Fairforn slot, and again, once Dynamax on Reshiram is available, I think that's really huge. So I think, yeah, we go for a taunt into the Fairforn, and we go for a high horsepower into the Kyurem, or we could Lance here and Wisp, which also would kind of cover the exhaustion, but not as effectively here. I guess I don't need to technically... No, I would like to taunt the Fairforn and always KO. Actually, if I Lance here and I Wisp here, it's not a bad spot because I'm pretty sure I put the Fairforn into range of Max Flare to protect. You know what? Yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for a Lance here and a Wisp here, and they actually stay in, which is perfect. They go for the body press, which shouldn't KO the Calyrex. Yep. Okay, nice. I get the knockout Kyurem. That's actually the biggest threat to my Reshiram in the back. So I am very happy about this situation. I am able to get a Lance off right here and pick up the knockout into the Kyurem. Yep. Awesome. All right. I'll 100% take this. This is a really good spot right here. Dynamax again. Dynamax Reshiram is looking pretty strong in this end game now that the Kyurem is over. I'm glad I didn't have to overcommit because +2 high horsepower might have knocked out the Kyurem there. And I was really thinking about like what they want to try switching to. I felt like if they switch anything, it might be Entity and try to sack it so you can get the free switch to exhaustion in a very safe spot. Or you could go back into Kirim, I guess, potentially. But yeah, now this is really good because now I can actually threaten a lot here, and Reshiram can clean up in the end game. Let's see who they're bringing out. The Zacian. If it's Zacian, I just go for a taunt protect play and then a wisp, I think. A Zacian is going to come out here. Although they could sub here, I suppose. If they sub here, it's a little bit awkward. I mean, if it's sub, I guess it could be sub here. I could also go Incineroar for my Mimikyu slot, and then threaten Fake Out, which also isn't a bad position. I guess I got a few plays. You know what? Let's go Incineroar here and just go for the protect. Yeah, I don't think that's too bad. I guess it doesn't cover the sub play, but I don't think like this would, like if they do go for a body press here into my Calyrex and the Behemoth Blade double up, I think it would be even worse for me. I don't think they're body pressing the Mimikyu. If they body press the Mimikyu, really good play on their part, but I think I get the free switch to Reshiram, and I think that's okay here. As long as they don't sub here. They Sacred Sword my Calyrex, trying to catch the instant for that. Okay. And they Leech Seed what was my Mimikyu. Okay, that's cool. I am a-okay with that. So now I'm gonna push the advantage here. They know I could go for Fake Out high horsepower into the Zacian slot. This could be Indity, I guess. This could be Protect. I think my safest play is just to switch out my Incineroar here. Go out into Reshiram. No, into Mimikyu, right? It is into Mimikyu. Okay, yeah, it is into Mimikyu, actually. We go on to Mimikyu here. The reason we don't want to go Reshiram is a +6 body press would hurt. And I want as much max, or I want as much health for Dynamax as possible. So yeah, I'm gonna go for the Lance here. I don't care if they actually go for like a body press Behemoth Blade play here. If they go for Protect and KO the Calyrex, that's fine too. Again, I just get the free switch here into my my Reshiram here, and my Reshiram would be in a very prime spot, especially since Fairforn can't actually do anything to the Mimikyu other than Leech Seed. So if they want to Leech Seed again, that's cool too. Bring out the Mimikyu. Let's see if they just go for the Protect. They do just go for the Protect. I don't know if this is a body press into which slot. If it is going to be into the Incineroar, that's fine. If they go for a double Protect, that's cool as well. I don't think that's a bad position. I think now I'm just going to taunt the Fairforn. Yeah, I taunt the Fairforn. I go for a high horsepower into the Zacian this turn. And now, because the Zacian is at neutral attack, I'm really comfortable with like my Reshiram getting some attacks off here. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go for a taunt into the Fairforn. This prevents it from doing anything to Mimikyu. And we go for the high horsepower into the Zacian, and then we set up for the Reshiram endgame with Max Flare, just being able to dish out a lot of damage, especially since the Indity doesn't have a Psychic Seed that I can use anymore. Behemoth Blade going to be fired off into the Calyrex. Yeah, sure, I could have went into Insane, I guess, but if they double up the Calyrex slot with Body Press, it's a little bit awkward, so I think it's still an okay play. The Calyrex goes down here, and we do get the taunt off into the Fairforn. And now we can go for Max Flare very, very comfortably here. And I guess we go for a taunt into the Zacian slot, because I think if anything switches out, it'd be the Zacian. Yeah, it'd probably be the Zacian. And even if the Zacian stays in attack, it's at neutral. And I have a Dynamax Reshiram. I don't think it's doing as much damage right here. So I'm pretty sure that this is just always a save Max Flare into Fairforn. I guess I could taunt the Fairforn too. Yeah, actually taunting the Fairforn makes a lot more sense here, because if I'm trying to pin the Indity switch, which is what I'm aiming for this entire game, I'm going to go for it. I do have Heat Wave. I could just go for the Heat Wave. That's also fair, but I think this also works out fine, because if they go on to Indity, I taunt the Indity, I get a Max Flare off. If I do see, if Zacian switches out, it's cool as well, I think, because wait, who's faster, my Reshiram or my Mimikyu? I'm pretty sure I've done this play because I'm thinking my Reshiram is faster than my Mimikyu, and I get the KO onto their Fairforn. My Reshiram has a lot of speed. I'm pretty sure that Reshiram is faster. I get the Max Flare off into the Fairforn, then I get the taunt situation into either Fairforn. Also can't protect, and it might actually have gone through. It might have actually just been KO through protect anyway. Yeah, this is a really rough spot for my opponent. They really don't have a safe swap here. It looks like they just stay in. Okay. Which is cool by me. This actually might be the more awkward out of everything, but I don't really think this is too bad of a deal. As long as no crits happen, I should be fine. All right, let's Dynamax our Reshiram right here. Let's find out what they decide to go for here. It might be a Behemoth Blade, might be a Play Rough. Either one is completely safe. We're going to see a Behemoth Blade be fired off into... This should be the Reshiram. I see no point of targeting the Mimikyu anymore. They actually target the Mimikyu. I'm surprised. Okay. And that works out in my favor. The disguise is going to be broken here, and now we can go for a max flare into the Ferrothorn slot, and yeah, we were faster. Okay, yeah, this is the pin I was going for. Max flare, KO the Ferrothorn, and then taunt the Zacian. The reason is we cover a bunch of plays. If the Ferrothorn stays in, it goes down to the max flare. We get a taunt off into whatever slot, whether Zacian is switched out to Indity or the Indity, or if Zacian just stays in, now I can't go for protect, so it's now vulnerable to my max flare. If the Ferrothorn switched out, I either got the huge damage and a taunt in the Indity, which prevents helping hand, follow me, redirection, whatever, and I could always go for a safe max flare the following turn. Yeah, it was just like a really rough spot for my opponent. So this is the position I was trying to set up for in this late game, especially because I felt like I needed that extra intimidate into the Zacian to make this super safe. And yeah, this is perfect right now because now I can just go out into my Incineroar and go for a max flare into the Zacian, and with the intimidate, helping hand, Behemoth Blade does not do enough damage, and if they go for the helping hand, they get heavily punished. If they decide to follow me here, Indity might just go down to the max flare with the sun. We'll find out here. But yeah, another intimidate into the Zacian. If I can activate my eject button, I will activate my eject button. We're gonna see the helping hand. Yep, they're going for the last ditch effort, but I don't think helping hand play rough crit knocks me out, especially because they weren't at +1. With the 2 intimidates, they're at -1, so the best they can get is a neutral crit right here, which should never knock out Reshiram. But Behemoth Blade still does a lot of damage to Reshiram. I guess it's because they're Dynamax, but max player are gonna come out into the Zacian. Gonna be game over for my opponent, and yeah, Kyurem White is difficult. It is difficult, but Reshiram just set up for that endgame just fine. Being able to knock out that Kyurem White, install as Dynamax turns was really crucial here. And thankfully, oh, they didn't go for the max. I felt like they were going to go for Dragon because like one of the ways I get out of position is by Dynamaxing the Calyrex and going for a really strong move there, which is why I thought they would go more likely go for the max Dragon than a max Hailstorm there, because I felt like they were threatened by me going for a self-shadow stake, getting the policy attack off. So that's exactly why I decided to go for the Trick Room attempt with Mimikyu, and it just really paid off. The Ferrothorn was a good mid-ground play for them, but thankfully with that Wisp burn, it wasn't really doing that much damage. I was able to get a lot of damage with my Calyrex, and then Reshiram was able to set up fairly comfortably after the Kyurem was gone right there. Whew. And that is going to be a victory for us. Grimmsnarl, Regieleki, Zacian, Kyogre, Landisfarian, and Incineroar. Okay, this is gonna be something right here because Eleki combined with Kyogre, oh boy, that could be good or bad for me. I don't know. Do I want to bring Reshiram? Because I feel like Gastrodon. Look at Gastrodon here, and this is Scald Gastrodon. It hits quite hard against a lot of my opponent's Pokemon here, so Gastrodon might be my Dynamax option here. I kind of want to go with the Mimikyu plus the Incineroar right here. Yeah, that's probably a good lead. I don't really need Reshiram for too much. I do like Gastrodon though, because Gastrodon is fantastic in this matchup. And then Calyrex-Ice Rider, I think, in the back right here. And yeah, I think that's a pretty strong lead here. I think it's going to depend on what they lead here specifically, because if they lead Eleki plus Kyogre, it's going to be like some mind games. Otherwise, I feel like we are in a pretty safe spot to get Trick 'em up most of the time here. Grimmsnarl could be a little bit annoying because of Trick and a few other things. Light Screen is not exactly that great here for me. But we will see how this matchup goes. I imagine Gastrodon with the Soft Sand can actually do quite a bit of damage here. And they lead Incineroar plus Kyogre, which is actually perfect for me. I do not mind this at all. I will lead my Incineroar plus my Mimikyu right here. And there's no really big reason to sack the Incineroar turn 1 here when I don't have to, right? I could just go for the Trick Room with my Mimikyu right here and get in my Gastrodon right here on probably that Water Spout coming out here. And we got Intimidate off into the Incineroar, so I don't think it can knock out the Mimikyu right here, barring a critical hit right here. So let's just go for it. We're going to go for a Trick Room right here, and we're going to go for a swap into Gastrodon here and gain a special attack boost, hopefully, from the Kyogre. But maybe they decide, hey, I'm going to pivot the Kyogre here because the Gastrodon switch might be a bit too obvious. And yeah, Gastrodon's in a fantastic spot if I do switch in, so they might be like, oh, maybe I go for an Ice Beam here, maybe I go for a Parting Shot here. And I think it's fine because it's not really that much damage to Gastrodon, and I can still recover my hit points anyway, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. Gastrodon is going to be coming out from my side of the field, as we are going to see a Thunder going to come out into the Mimikyu. Okay, so they do avoid it. All right. Thunder, they're going for a full pair, I'm assuming, with that Thunder here. Okay, also good to confirm that they have Thunder here, because maybe they don't have a way to touch the Gastrodon, who knows. We will see Life Orb on the Kyogre. Okay, as we're gonna see Parting Shot come out into the Incineroar. Yeah, okay, it was what was the Incineroar slash switching to Gastron. So good play on their part. Good play on their part. They do break my disguise. My Gastron is in though, and is in a pretty, it's still in a really strong spot regardless, because they don't exactly have the best switch-ins for it here. We're gonna see the Grimmsnarl looks like come out here. Okay, is this Power Grimmsnarl actually, now that I think about it? Oh boy, if this is Power Grimmsnarl, I guess this could be a little bit fun here. Ooh, all right, I'm gonna go for a Wisp here into the Grimmsnarl slot, and you know what do I want to do here? I don't think it's what it should be. Water Spout. It might be Water Spout coming out. I don't know. I think just Protect here is probably safe this turn, and then see what they react with, because they could go back into Incineroar here. I don't know. Power Up on the Grimmsnarl would actually be a really, oh boy, it's a Dynamax. Oh wait, this is Kyogre, isn't it? I'm pretty sure this is Kyogre. If this is Grimmsnarl and it goes for a max overgrow, oh boy, imagine. No, it's the Kyogre. Okay, so this isn't too bad. I think this is Power Up Grimmsnarl then. I really do think it's Power Up Grimmsnarl if that's the case. Okay. So Dynamax Kyogre. It'd be funny because Max Geyser, does it go to Protect with a Storm Drain? I actually have no clue. Or this could be a Hailstorm double up, I suppose. Let's find out. Gonna be Fake Tears. Oh, that's their play. Okay. They go for the Fake Tears. I get a Willis off. I was more scared of a potential Power Whip surprise, and I would not have enjoyed that. So we do get a Willis off into the Grimmsnarl. So that Grimmsnarl has taken the burn. And we're going to see a Hailstorm come out into the Gastron slot. That is A-okay by me, because Gastron doesn't really take that much damage because I did go for a Protect here. I do want to save my Gastron heavily here. So I might decide to switch out both Pokemon here. I don't think it's a too bad option. Yeah. Because Willis doesn't really accomplish anything to the Kyogre, I do have to now fear that this Grimmsnarl, because Fake Tears is actually kind of scary. I think I'm going to go out into my Incineroar right here and go into Calyrex for the Mimikyu slot, because I dodge a potential Fake Tears Hailstorm in the Gastron slot. They could read this, go for the Geyser. I don't think it picks up the knockout though, so I think it's okay here. I'm just going to go out and Incineroar anyway. We're going to find out if they do. I think just resetting my Gastron special attack is still pretty good here. I could go for a Max Quake if I really want to, but I don't really enjoy that risk here. They also have, again, a really tough time of dealing with the Gastron effectively here. So I do want to preserve it as long as I possibly can. The only problem is if they catch like an Incineroar on the switch. If they catch a Calyrex, I don't think it's that big of a deal, because Calyrex is like, oh, I'm just firing off spread damage at this point. It's Incineroar in the back alongside probably Zacian. So I don't think it's really that important, this matchup. I'm just using it to get some chip damage off. Getting rid of the Grim would be nice here. But we'll find out. We do bring out our Incineroar here. I would love to see the Hailstorm once again. It would be great. But maybe they go for the aggressive play here. Could be a Geyser here. Could be a Lightning into the Mimikyu. We'll find out. Could be a decent mid ground. We're going to bring out our Calyrex and our Incineroar here. We're going to see a Show Me Fake Tears into the Incineroar slot. I don't think you have a reason to Fake Tears to Mimikyu, but we'll see. It's going to be Fake Tears. Oh, they did target down at the Mimikyu slot. All right. So that is the Calyrex. All right. That's not amazing for me. They went for a Lightning though. Okay, so this covered the Gastron as well, since it wasn't doing much damage. And Calyrex survives actually by like a few hit points. Okay, that's actually pretty big that my Calyrex survives. I can get a hit off and I can go for a Parting Shot into the Kyogre, potentially get in my Gastron pretty safely. And yeah, I like that. I think I go for a high horsepower into the Grimmsnarl. I do think that's probably switching out here. You probably want to preserve the Fake Out. You're probably going to go out into your own Incineroar. So let's just get some damage off into that Incineroar slot and go for that Parting Shot into the Kyogre. If they stay in, I'd be surprised, because I feel like Grimmsnarl, you kind of want it around for the Fake Tears pressure into my Gastron later. So I'd imagine that this should be always a switch to Incineroar, and Kyogre probably just going to fire off attack. I don't know if they're going to go for Lightning, Hailstorm, or anything else. But again, oh wow. Oh, smart. They went for Scary Face themselves, but Calyrex would still be faster. Yeah, I am. I get a high horsepower off into the Grimmsnarl. Is this a Geyser though? An Incin? It is a Geyser coming out into... Oh, I should have hard switched into Gastro. That was a little bit greedy, I guess. All right, Incineroar goes down. Good play on their part. Good play on their part. All right. Oh, that is not amazing for me. It's not terrible though. It is definitely not terrible, but it's not the best right here. Okay. Chakram's still up. I can go out into my Gastrodon here, or I could go out and Mimikyu. I guess taunting the Grimmsnarl earlier would have been more effective. We will bring out our Gastrodon though, and I do think that the Gastrodon still has a lot of potential to just win this game, especially since the Kyler's Dynamax is over at this point. I don't know if they're going to go for a Scary Face again, but I am going to go for a Glacial Lance here, and I am going to go for the Max Quake here and just try to get some really heavy damage off. I'm pretty sure if they stay in and go for like a Fake Tears, the Grimmsnarl goes down, which is pretty positive for me. If they switch out the Grimmsnarl, it's not that bad, because if they switch out the Grimmsnarl into Incineroar, I catch it with a Glacial Lance and potentially a Max Quake here. And if my Gastrodon is faster than Kyogre under the Trick Room, a Max Quake would be affecting the Incineroar potentially through a Shuca Berry, because of the Unnerve on the Calyrex here. We did confirm that my Calyrex is still slower than the Kyogre here. If they go for a Scary Face into the Kyogre, that's completely fine, because I still have my Gastrodon that's not Fake Tears at the moment. But they are going to switch out to the Grimmsnarl, which makes sense. They want to preserve it. Going to go out into that Incineroar slot. I wonder if they're going to go for the attack with Kyogre, or they're going to protect this turn, because I am going for a Max Quake plus Glacial Lance here, and I don't know if they want to risk the Kyogre right here. However, let's see. We do Dynamax our Gastrodon right here. And Gastrodon, you're going to have to pull in some pretty heavy weight here, because it's really necessary. We have a Soft Sand on the Gastrodon. We should be able to get a KO into the Incineroar with that Soft Sand alongside the Glacial Lance chip, which is pretty big, because getting rid of Incineroar, one way that they can slow out my damage output with the Parting Shot right here. Let's see. It's going to be a... Nice. They protect higher. That's beautiful. Okay. That's amazing for me, actually, because I am able to get a Glacial Lance and a Max Quake off, and yeah, I am actually going to be able to get a lot of damage into the Incineroar slot. And ooh, that's actually, does Calyrex pick up the knockout here with the Glacial Lance? Because that's pretty nice if I do right here. That would be pretty nice if I do, because I'd get my attack back to neutral, although it shouldn't matter, because I'm pretty sure Calyrex is never getting an attack off in the rest of the game. However, it could be useful still. We do get a Glacial Lance off into the Incineroar. It does pick up the knockout. Okay, that's actually a pretty big knockout here. All right, so goodbye Incineroar right here. Do get the boost with our Calyrex. And how many turns of rain are there? Because they went for a Hailstorm and then they went for a Geyser. I think, ooh, 2 more turns of rain, I want to say, which is not pleasant. I would definitely have preferred 1 here. Let's see if Zacian comes in, or if it's Grimmsnarl. If it's Grimmsnarl, I think I just attempt to go for Trick Room here with the Calyrex, because if they focus down the Calyrex, it's not that big of a deal right here. Yeah, they do bring in the Grimmsnarl, which is a-okay by me. I'm going to go for a... Yeah, I'm going to attempt to Trick Room. Oh, it's 3 turns of rain, so I don't think there's like really any point in trying to stall out. We're going to Trick Room here, and we're going to go for a Max Quake here into the Grimmsnarl slot, because they might go for a Fake Tears Ice Beam into the Gastrodon and just try to get some chip, because they don't really have the best ways, again, to deal with Gastrodon. It's a really tough Pokemon for them to actually handle right here. Let's see though, because it could... I mean, it's Thunder. Wait, we saw Thunder, Ice Beam. Okay, the Kyogre solo Water Spout. It's solo Water Spout here, because we saw Protect as well. So the only move it can actually hit me with is going to be that Water Spout right here, which is kind of interesting. Oh, they have Fake Out. I was not expecting Fake Out there. Okay. We're going to see a Ice Beam be fired off into Gastrodon. Please no Freeze. Okay. We're still good on that part. We do get another Max Quake off with our Gastrodon. Okay, cool. With the Soft Sand, I wonder if we KO the Zacian. If we can KO the Zacian with Max Quake here, would be really good here because of that Soft Sand. All right, let's see if it works. We will get the KO onto the Grimmsnarl right there. We do get to go out into our Mimikyu right here. I think we do just get to go for a... I would say we... Does Mimikyu live a Water Spout at this range? Oh boy. It's close, I think, because the Kyogre is taking chip. It's Water Spout in the rain here, but they have taken a lot of chip, and that's really tough to call here. Let's see. Last time Electric Train, 2 turns of rain. I mean, here's the thing. If they Water Spout, they increase the power of my Gastrodon, which I don't know if they want to go for. So you know what? I'm going to attempt to trick them anyway, and I'm just going to go for a Max Quake here into Zacian. Double up into Gastrodon would be pretty close, but I don't think it picks up a knockout here. They do go for a Behemoth Blade here into Mimikyu, I guess, and an Ice Beam. All right, let's see if Soft Sand Max Quake can knock out the Zacian, because I think if we knock out the Zacian here with the Max Quake, we just win the game here. Maybe I should have went for the Shadow Seek and the Zacian, because yeah, that was a pretty good play to play around it, assuming that the Gastrodon doesn't pick up the knockout on the Zacian with the Max Quake with Soft Sand. We are seeing that the Kyra is taking a lot of chip. Here comes the Max Quake. Come on, Gastron. Can you pick up the knockout in the Zacian? We would really love the knockout in the Zacian. We pick up the knockout in the Zacian. Soft Sand Gastrodon actually coming into play there, picking up the knockout in the Zacian. Shame went for the Shadow Sneak though. That was definitely not the best on my part. But yeah, we're able to knock out the Zacian. And I assume we can beat the Kyogre now, assuming no unluckiness right here. I'm going to go for Recover with Gastrodon here first. A crit on Ice Beam shouldn't KO me. Ooh, that's actually kind of close. We recover here with Gastrodon because we actually do have Recover on this Gastrodon. Soft Sand's actually really clutch here. Okay, that's one of the big sides because Gastrodon doesn't actually normally knock out Zacian with the Max Quake, but in this case, it's really going to pay off here as we are able to get a Recover off with Gastrodon right here. And I think we keep going for Recover here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we keep going for Recover here. Even though there's chances of Ice Beam, I don't know if Earth Power into the next Life Orb pit will KO the Kyogre. And if they crit freeze me, if they crit freeze me and I don't unfall, it's just screwed. But if I go for the Earth Power, it doesn't KO after the next Life Orb pit, and then they get like a double crit, then yeah, I think I'd rather just Recover and see if I can win that way. I'm pretty sure I can go for the Earth Power the following turn because I'm pretty sure Earth Power into... Actually, with Soft Sand, I might have just knocked out the Kyogre there, so I guess it's an unnecessary risk. Yeah, actually, maybe I should have just went for the Earth Power. But Gastrodon able to heal back up to full. And this Kyogre definitely needs a crit freeze right here for a shot of winning this game. But let's see. A bat's going to be forfeit. They're not going for it. Okay. Your way out there is crit freeze into another crit. But yeah, we take it. Gastrodon really, really strong, but my opponent definitely played well against, especially in the first couple turns, getting the Thunder off, the Fake Tears, Hailstorm. I was able to catch it, but then they went for the really aggressive Fake Tears Max Lightning, which was really strong on their part. I could have maybe tried to play around that instead. However, I didn't think I needed my Calyrex that much anyway. I was able to get some pretty good chip. I was able to eliminate the Incineroar immediately, which again was, if they got Parting Shot off, would have been a very detrimental thing right there. They were either trading their Grimmsnarl or their Incineroar there, and I was able to get the Incineroar before Parting Shot happened, so I was actually able to knock out the Zacian because of the Soft Sand on the Gastrodon with the Max Quake, because this is an offensive Gastrodon, and it really did put in the work right there. Zacian, Calyrex Shadow Rider, Landisfarian, Regieleki, Grimmsnarl, Tornadus. This matchup, Eleki and I guess Eleki plus Calyrex really hates Reshiram lead. So I would imagine that would be the case here. Yeah, I would imagine that would be the case here. Okay, I'm going to lead Reshiram alongside... Oh, what do I want to do here? I guess I could go with like Mimikyu. I don't know if I want to go Mimikyu though. The reason I don't know if I want to go Mimikyu is that the right call? I definitely want to bring Calyrex here. Gastrodon isn't that bad against their team. I'm just a little bit worried because I know Reshiram, I'm going to Dynamax here, and that's going to do a lot against my opponent's team here. Yeah, it would. I can't lead a Mungus plus Mimikyu because of the Rage Powder support here. Reshiram just is always the solid lead here. I think it's Reshiram Mimikyu here. And then try to use the Jackpot and Incineroar for repositioning, which I don't think is too bad, because then I could threaten to Shadow Sneak into the Calyrex the following turn, because I could go for like a Max Quake plus switch out my Incineroar there, and then I can threaten the Regieleki. Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad, I guess. Let's see what they decide to go for here though. I'm hoping that we can get a really good position with our Reshiram, dishing out a lot of damage. We do see the Regieleki plus Calyrex, which makes sense. It is probably one of their most effective ways to actually counter the Mimikyu lead, because you do have a Dynamax with Eleki to prevent the fake out situation. If I lead a Mungus and Rage Powder, they could go for Electro plus Astral Barrage. It does a lot of damage, especially to my Calyrex-Ice Rider. So I don't know if there's a specs on the what's it called, the Calyrex Shadow Rider, which could be scary. But yeah, we are going to go for a Quake here, set up into the Calyrex slot, and we are going to go out into our Incineroar, I think, to activate the eject button, because I don't want to keep the eject button forever, and I might as well just make sure that Mimikyu is going to be safe here. We will bring out our Incineroar, going to intimidate off into the Eleki. If it is a physical variant, I don't know if it's physical or special on this team, we'll find out. but this probably does work out in our favor. We are going to Dynamax our Reshiram. No Dynamax on the Mimikyu side, which makes sense. They're probably just going to go on the offensive, or they're just going to probably go for a Electro Web plus an Astral Barrage here, or maybe just a Thunderbolt or Volt Switch or Rising Voltage, whatever it really wants to decide here. We do bring out the Dynamax Reshiram, and we're going to boost up to deal with the Calyrex immediately because that thing is a massive threat. Electro Web is going to come out and Incineroar Voice, which is actually really good for me. That's actually amazing. Okay, wait, hold up. That's amazing for me. The reason it's amazing for me, it's Life Orb on the EUIC. Oh, this is really good. Astral Barrage. Oh, eject button Incineroar. That's Specs, right? That did so much damage. Wait, is it Specs or is that just an offensive variant? No, that should be Specs. That did so much damage to my Reshiram. Okay, Mimikyu can come in here. And I guess I always start to Shadow Sneak afterward. Okay, not too bad. I also get the max Quake boost into my Mimikyu right here with the Disguise available. This is pretty good here. All right, max Quake going to be fired off into the Calyrex. Okay, really nice here. And now we can go for... I want to say we go for a max Flare into the... they should switch out the Calyrex, I suppose. What would come in, though? They have nothing that switches into this comfortably. I guess I don't need to KO the EUIC. EUIC's not really that much of a threat right now. So I go for a max Flare, I think, and a Shadow Sneak into the Calyrex slot. And if Calyrex switches out, it goes down. And if it stays in, it goes down. And if it's like a switch into Landorus, I get the Landorus, which is pretty good because Landorus is a pretty big threat to my Reshiram. It is actually probably the most threatening Pokemon to my Reshiram. If I got the Zacian, I got the most threatening Pokemon to my Calyrex-Ice Rider. So no matter what, yeah, I was in a good spot. And yeah, it did look like it was choice specs. It looks like it's going to help me here that I keep my Disguise, but I mean, they wouldn't have been able to knock out the Mimikyu through Disguise anyway, so I don't think it was that big of a deal. I guess if I went for a Trick Room here, it would have been great, but the thing is I cannot risk them going for Electro Web Astral Barrage there and risking me not going for the Shadow Sneak right there. So yeah, or the Trick Room right there, because if I Trick Room there, they 100% lose, so I don't think that they were going to... I don't know. It was just a mind game right there. But yeah, we are able to knock out the Landorus there with the combination of the Shadow Sneak plus Max Flare. Now the Reshiram is in the sun right here. And the Landorus goes down. And my Mimikyu is actually still really good just because I can threaten the Shadow Sneak endgame, which is still really strong here. This should be... Zacian would be weird here, but I guess they have to go to Zacian, right? I think you'd have to go to Zacian here. Yeah, Zacian does come out. Okay. I go Incineroar here and Max Flare, I guess. I don't know. I think Reshiram probably lives the attack. He probably does. But I mean, I want to say Mimikyu, right? Yeah, I do want to say Mimikyu. I guess we do just Max Flare and we go out and Incineroar here. Because we want Shadow Sneak pressure for the... Oh, I guess one awkward part about this endgame is that they Dynamax the Calyrex Shadow Rider, because Shadow Sneak will probably not KO the Calyrex Shadow Rider anymore at the range is at with Dynamax available. So I do got to keep that in mind because that Calyrex Shadow Rider could revenge sweep me potentially. I will find out though. We're going to see a Dynamax though from EUIC. Okay, this is probably Max Lightning then into the Mimikyu slot and a Behemoth Blade then. Or Day Protect, that's cool as well. Dynamax coming out from the EUIC. Okay. Still a pretty threatening position, however, still not that bad, I think. We do have a +1 on my Reshiram. We got the Intimidate off into the thing. We're going to see a Max Lightning come off into the Incineroar. If this picks up the knockout and they didn't go for a sub here, I'm in a fantastic spot against them. They get a critical hit, which probably doesn't matter, I'm assuming, especially with the Life Orb on the EUIC. He probably just picked up the knockout with Max Lightning from whatever, unless it was off Wild Charge because it's -2 attack. However, I think this is special if they're Dynamax and EUIC at this stage of the game. They do go for sub. Okay. Okay, that makes it a little bit awkward. We do get the Max Flare off. We do target down at the Zacian. All right. I guess I Trick Room. No, I Protect Heat Wave, right? I guess this part's going to be a little bit awkward. I don't think they can knock out the Reshiram through... Intimidate? I mean, not to Intimidate, with the Max Quake boost and the Intimidate and the Zacian, I guess. Yeah, it doesn't with the Intimidate, but this is close. This is actually really close here. Okay. We go for the Heat Wave here. Thankfully, we have Heat Wave and Blue Flare here, and Heat Wave is going to be really clutch because we probably two-shot the EUIC right here. So we're going to go for the Heat Wave here because it also covers the sub. We just got to hit attacks now and protect our Calyrex. I don't know if they're gonna. I would say Max Lightning and sub again makes a lot of sense to me right here. I don't know if Earth Power actually even knocks out the Eliki. I guess Blue Flare could, but if the Zacian gets behind a sub, I still think it's a really awkward end game here for me. So yeah, I think I'd rather. Well, actually, if it is behind a sub, does it really matter? I guess it technically doesn't, right? Maybe it doesn't. Oh, I guess. Oh, now I thought about a one play that could screw me over here. That's the Zacian switches out here into Calyrex, but okay, they don't. Because if they do, they get the +1 attack and then actually can threaten the Reshiram. But then again, we saw substitute, so it might not have play rough. We do see a Max Lightning into Calyrex to deny the Trick Room here. That actually wouldn't have KO'd the Calyrex. I'm actually surprised. I guess Calyrex is just that insane. They doubled up the Calyrex. Wait, this is weird for me. Okay, I do get the Heat Wave. So much damage right there. Wait, did I screw myself over here? Because it depends heavily on this upcoming turn. Wait, hold on. I did not think they would actually double the Calyrex right there. I thought they would have subbed, but is that the electric terrain boosted Max Lightning? I guess they are physical then. Did the crit and instant matter? I guess then. I don't think I minded the crit, but yeah, now this is awkward. I mean, Reshiram might be able to survive the combination, but if it doesn't, we're in a lot of trouble. If it doesn't, we're in a lot of trouble. We go for a... I don't have accurate moves to win this game. I could Earth Power to Eliki, but Eliki should attack here, but if there's the off chance... No, they should... Oh, okay, you know what? I'm going for the Earth Power. I'm going for the double protect. Hold on. This is not an over game by far. I went for the double fails. This should be Max Lightning or Max Darkness into the Reshiram. Yeah, it's into Reshiram. Okay, how much do we take? Reshiram, you gotta close this. You gotta close this game right here. You gotta hold. Because if we don't hold, we are losing here. Astral Barrage is going to be fired off into the Reshiram and the Calyrex. And okay, hit one and we're good. Hit one and we're good. Actually, you might only have to hit. You might not even have to hit at this rate because you just held it. Okay. Heat Wave. Oh wait, no, Earth Power. Yeah, Earth Power. Oh yeah. Wait, I thought I clicked Heat Wave. Okay, no, we had the game sealed. We had the game sealed because we have Mimicking the back with Shadow Sneak that just prevents the Calyrex, unless I'm crazy and Shadow Sneak doesn't actually KO the Calyrex at this range. But it's a 4x ghost move against the Calyrex Shadow Rider at like 40-ish%. I'm pretty sure that this will finish it off. And oh, that was something right there. But the eject button Incineroar actually really did come in clutch right there. The fact that I was actually able to get Mimikyu in and threaten the Calyrex with the Shadow Sneak afterward was actually a position that I wouldn't have had without that eject button. With the Incineroar in, it could have been awkward, especially if the Eliki Dynamaxed earlier. So that was actually pretty clutch by the Incineroar for dodging the Electro and then getting my Mimikyu with the disguise still intact. But yeah, it really just depended on if they were able to actually knock out my Reshiram at that range. If they had Darkness, it would have actually been terrifying because Darkness and the Astral Barrage probably would have picked up the knock on the Reshiram. Although then I think the end game comes down to my Mimikyu. And I don't know if it's physical Eliki or not. I'm pretty sure it's physical. If it's physical Eliki, I might still win because I got like 2 Intimidates into the Eliki from earlier, right? So I'm able to go for a Shadow Sneak into the Calyrex guaranteed because it's choice specs based on the damage. And then afterward, it comes down to does Mimikyu live a hit in electric terrain, which with its decent bulk, it might have. But oh boy, that's really close to say for comfort. But yeah, we were able to thankfully seal up with Reshiram coming in clutch there, especially. And that is the show. Reshiram, eject button Incineroar, soft sand on the Mimikyu. Just some text that really pulled some weight here. It was really incredible. Reshiram is a really strong restricted Pokemon, and I didn't think that Calyrex-Ice Rider would be the partner for it, but yeah, it does do a ton of work. If you did enjoy the video though, be sure to leave a like down below, leave a comment down below. It really does help me out. If you want to check out the details of the team and the creator down below in the description, and of course check out the rest of my series 12 content where I use a lot of fun teas and a lot of cool Pokemon. But that's gonna be it for me. Have a great day, people, and until we bow again, I'll catch y'all later.